So you spend most of your days in the market working with clients around tackling their issues around resilience and having those conversations. What does resilience mean to you?
Fia, we think about resilience as the ability to adapt and evolve with sudden or gradual change. Look, it's about being able to minimize the likelihood of disruptions becoming interruptions to your growth. It's your readiness to act when things don't happen as expected, both negative or positive, and come out stronger on the other side. We saw a really good example of this when one of the international financial institutions that we work with decided that they would geo-map a series of different elements of their business. They geo-mapped their customers, they geo-mapped their suppliers, they geo-mapped their assets, they geo-mapped their vendors. And when the earthquake and then the resulting tsunami hit in Japan, within 2 hours, that organization knew exactly which customers were impacted, which suppliers, which vendors, and they had a really good handle on the impact to their business. But what was more important for them from a resilience standpoint was that they didn't just have that information, they also had thought through how they were going to structure themselves to be able to react to events affecting any component of their business. So not only did they have the information, but they had the processes and they had the ability to organize around how they would come out of that situation, as horrible as it was, how they would come out of that stronger as an organization, with more customer loyalty, with better relationships with their suppliers, and a much better understanding of their vendors and how they played a role in the business itself. As a matter of fact, I think that conversation they ended up having caused them to really go back to a sense of identity and purpose and what they were about as they explored the options for how they would handle different types of events impacting their business. This was not a pure play discussion about business continuity or about information security, or it really was a business resilience discussion. It explored dimensions that ranged from the strategic and reputational side of things all the way through the financial, the operational, the compliance and obligations side. And so, great example of resilience.
So going back to your definition of resilience then, I mean, businesses have long needed to adapt in order to survive. Why is there so much urgency around resilience today then?
You know, we explored a little bit of kind of where are CEOs' heads in PwC's 17th Global CEO Survey. And what we heard was that CEOs are carefully optimistic about global economic growth. Look, after a long period of downturn, they are daring to make plans that are less about surviving and more about getting fit for the future. This is pretty welcome news. But at the same time, there are some massive megatrends that are reshaping the world in ways we could not previously imagine. For example, globalization connects us with places and systems in ways we don't realize. And seismic shifts come from places we haven't even thought of, offering new possibilities, but with the new, an element of risk emerges as well. So if you're a CEO starting to plan for growth, you're operating in a much more dynamic and unpredictable landscape than in the past, achieving growth that is continuous and sustainable in an environment where you don't know for sure what's around the corner. This can be difficult, but it's not impossible. Companies need to be prepared for many possibilities, be a bit flexible, and be resilient.